Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So I just came back from a long work shift. Okay, bear with me. I'm very exhausted from my job. So if I sound a little tired, just please bear with me. I just wanted to ask for a couple of things before we start the video. I'd really appreciate if you could like, subscribe, comment down below, and share the video with any of your friends that may be interested. Also, if you want to submit your own story time, go to the link down below in the description, click the story time link, and it'll be right there, and you can share your own story time. It is 100% anonymous. I do not see your email. I do not see any personal information, anything like that. Let's get into it though. So this story time is my mom tried to sleep with my boyfriend. I did a vote and you guys wanted this story time more. You guys are sick. This girl's name is Remy and she's 14 years old. Her mom had always been deemed beautiful by her friends, family members, her mother's coworker, and this gave her a lot of self-image issues. This would make her question her worth a lot. And, you know, this would be like, dang, well, she's getting all this attention. Why am I not getting attention for the way that I look? So Remy's mother would always put her on diets. She would always try to make her look feminine, always try to make her wear makeup, you know, and just dress really pretty. But Remy was the opposite. She was actually a very masculine kid. She didn't like makeup. She liked to play video games. You know, she was like, you know, like your typical tomboy, I'd say. And her mother wasn't very accepting of this, which caused a lot of conflict between the two. Remy's mother would always put her down and, you know, say she was embarrassing her in front of family and friends. This, in fact, did hurt Remy for a very long time, and it made her pretend to be someone who she was not. You know, she would just abide by her mother's expectations by dressing feminine and being feminine and girly and wearing makeup. And she finally gave up and blossomed to be herself. Everyone around Remy loved Remy except for her mother. So Remy's mother actually decided to neglect her after this. One day, Remy had came home from school and all of her clothes were thrown out. And Remy had went to her mother and was like, hey, like, what happened to all of my clothes? And her mother was like, you don't need to be wearing these clothes anymore, so I'm going to be throwing them away so you actually learn how to dress like an actual woman. And this frustrated Remy a lot. Remy basically had no choice but to wear the clothes that her mother gave her. Remy's mother would also force her not to curse, force her not to use slang terms, but Remy would just do it at school without her noticing. She would basically, anything masculine, I would say, she forced Remy not to do because she wanted to give her a very delicate feminine appearance, and her mother even admitted this herself. She was like, cussing and using slang terms are very masculine, and if you're gonna marry a man someday, a rich man, you're gonna need to be as feminine as possible so you could please him. Obviously, Remy was very irritated by this, as anyone would be. Remy's mother would keep trying and trying and trying to change her daughter, but she realized that she could do possibly nothing in this entire world, and it failed. She then just gave up on making her daughter the way she imaged her daughter to be and just let her do her own thing. This didn't heal their relationship. You know, her mom didn't magically start accepting her. She just gave up, you know, and changing her daughter. But soon after, her and her mother actually ended up having a really deep talk about identity, and her mother realized that she was wrong for not accepting Remy for the way that she was. And again, the relationship didn't exactly strengthen, but her mother really did respect who she was as a person. One day, this boy came into Remy's life, and his name was Robert. Robert was, you know, your typical beach blonde, blue-eyed boy. He was very handsome. He was very kind. He was very caring. He was everything a girl could ever dream of, and they just so happened to date. So they had been dating for about 6 months, and Remy thought it was time that they, you know, had to meet. So Remy had brought Robert around, and I kid you not, like, her mom liked him a little too much, and it was really weird. Her mother would grab up on him, like she would constantly touch his muscles. She would constantly basically flirt with him subtly in front of Remy. And she vocalized multiple times that she really didn't like this, but her mother was like, oh, I'm not interested in him. He's like 10 times my age. I don't like him. She never denied the fact that she was flirting with him, which I find really weird. And she would always want to do activities with him, whether it was baking, watching TV, you know, just small little activities to get to know each other more. And then, surprise, surprise, her mother tried to change her back again. Her mother explained to her that her boyfriend would like her a little more if she was more feminine. This started to get Remy to think a little. Do you really think that Robert is gonna like me more if I change more feminine? So she decided to give it a try. She became more feminine. She started dressing exactly the same way that her mother wanted to in the first place. So Remy's boyfriend obviously started noticing the changes in her. And one day he went up to her and asked, "Is everything okay?" And she was like, "Why are you asking this?" And he's like, "Well, you just changed the way you dress, the way your hair looks. You wear makeup now, and you've done things that you've never done before. Why are you doing these things?" Remy was a bit hesitant at first, but she decided to be honest with him since they were dating after all. She had said that her mom said that he would like her a little more if she was more feminine. And the first thing he did was laugh, which highly confused her. But then he ended up reassuring her and said, "Remy, I'm not gonna sit here and dislike you because you're not super feminine or wear makeup or wear girly clothes. In fact, those are all the reasons why I like you for you. You're different from other girls. I've never been attracted to all that high fashion stuff, but honestly, if that's what you're into, do it for you. Even if you decided to do makeup and all those things, I would still love you just as you are." And this definitely melted her heart and gave her a lot of reassurance that she needed. So one day she actually came home from school and she saw Robert. And in fact, she was very happy by this, but the problem was that I cut my video out, but the problem was that her mom was laying on Robert's lap while they were watching a movie, and she walked in on this and had no idea that this was going on. And obviously this made her uncomfortable, as it would make any girl uncomfortable. So she quickly took Robert up to her room and she expressed that this made her extremely uncomfortable, and Robert even agreed. He was like, "I didn't really appreciate the fact that your mom could feel that comfortable with laying on my lap anyways while offering to watch a movie. I just thought she was trying to be nice, but I feel like she has other motives and it kind of makes me uncomfortable." And he was like, "Honestly, I don't want to go back downstairs. Like, your mom just makes me really uncomfortable and I just have a really weird feeling." And she was like, "Okay, maybe I can just ask if you could sleep over then, so you don't have to deal with her at all whatsoever and you can just stay in my room and feel safe." And he was like, "Okay." So she went to go ask her mom if he could sleep over, and surprisingly, she said yes. Remy just brushed her off because this was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that she didn't want to ruin. So she went to tell Robert, and Robert was extremely happy, and they ended up, you know, having a sleepover. But there was one problem. So Remy went to wake up to go to the bathroom, and I kid you not, she apparently wakes up, and when she tries to move her arm is restrained by a rope. And she's in her basement tied up with like a cloth around her mouth. And she was screaming and crying to be freed, and she was scared. She thought there were burglars in the house. And after like forever, her mom finally comes downstairs and is like, "Oh, sorry, sweetie, I just had to take care of a couple of things." And Remy was extremely mad, but she didn't bother saying anything to her mother due to the shock, and she just immediately ran to Chris and sought comfort in him. And, you know, she didn't exactly say anything at first because he was asleep. But when he woke up, he was like, "Oh, that was the best time of my life, baby." And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Oh, when we did it, when we played Twister." And she was like, "What are you talking about? I didn't play Twister. I was locked in my basement the entire time." And he ended up laughing and bursting out loud and not believing her. And she was like, "Baby, like, I'm serious. Like, we did it." And she was like, "That wasn't me." And they pieced it together, and the only other person that was in their house was their mom at the time. So you can put that together and figure that out, and yeah, that's all I received. That's all of the story time I received. So this is the makeup look. I'm definitely liking this a lot more. This is my foundation shade, but I am very happy and pleasantly surprised, and I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. Is that right to say? I don't know if that's right to say. I would really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, comment down below, and if you want a shout out, say I didn't skip the ads and comment down below in orange. If you want more story times like this, make sure to stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Bum, 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 bum.